Hello and welcome to this edition of the news on your TV Canal English. I'm Regina Fonjia Leke. Our top stories this day. World Press Freedom Day is tomorrow, and in prelude to the day, journalists are meeting in Douala to review the state of the press. In Makenene, 3 men have died after drowning in a well. We unfold the story in this newscast. And could Lamsaw, the mother tongue of the Saw people in Kumbu division, be on the brink of extinction? Parents have been urged to teach their children the language. This and more will be yours in a moment. Welcome back. We now talk the press, and tomorrow, May 3rd, is World Press Freedom Day, and journalists are currently meeting at the conference hall of the Employees Cartel, GCAM, in Douala to discuss issues related to deontology and the ethics of journalism, as well as best practices of the profession. The seminar, organized by the National Syndicate of Journalists in Cameroon, SNJC, marks part of activities to World Press Freedom Day celebration on May 3rd, under the theme, Critical Minds for Critical Times, Media's Role in Advancing Peaceful, Just, and Inclusive Society. Let's now take a listen to a resource person from neighboring Nigeria on the level of press freedom in Africa.
It's getting better in some areas, whereas in some other areas it's getting worse. Let me start with the places that we are not too happy with. A place like Gambia, and before the last administration, that is Yahya Jammeh, the 22 years or so that I spent as president of the Gambia was a total disaster for the media in the Gambia, and these are especially in the area of press freedom, because the media was not totally free in Gambia. And we also have examples in North Africa. You see, even in Egypt, we have in Tunisia, the media is operating under a very, very difficult environment there because of the law and the attitude of government agents, especially security agents. But in other places, like we have come to West Africa, it's a bit better. In my country, Nigeria, we can say we have a very good and robust press, but it's not as if it's totally free. And
to make it better.
Yes, you see, like I said earlier, we need to strengthen the law that will make access to information, you see, really free for journalists. We also have to strengthen the law that will protect journalists against attack, against attack by government agents, especially security agents, then against attack by hoodlums, because in some places, let's say in my country, for instance, now where the government is constrained by law to do anything against them.
And now on to this human interest story. 3 men have died in Makenene in the BAM division of the Central region after drowning into a well. It is reported that the first man entered an empty well but ended up dying under the water, and the second and third people in a bid to save him also died. Beatrice Ngamo has more.
Like one family, committed team, the population and administrative authorities engage in the rescue operation, removing water from the well, then the removal of persons. 3 hefty men swallowed by the water.
I had to wonder the images are graphic. Oh my goodness, I cannot even
as
stand
black at Makenene. The first 2 wanted to empty the well, but without any precaution, security measure. The horrible drama explains by the mayor of
I'm so scared of such images.
The first who went in, unfortunately, slipped inside and went into the water. The second then came to rescue. He lost reason and was dashed into the well. The third, who heard the cry of the second person, went into the well also without even a rope to save the second. He ended in same pool of water. A 10 meters deep well is said to also contain gas, while the 3 persons gave up the ghost as they fell inside the water. Saluting the rapid and active help of the population of the neighborhood, the administrative authorities made the fervent appeal to the population of Makenene that wells and pits should be empty or dug by so many persons with security measures and safety material in place. This well in particular was so tiny, tight, and the slightest error ends as it did in disaster. In the hospital, arrangements were made to transfer the corpse of these family heads to their respective households for burial. The best now is for the population to be on the watch to ensure such a drama does not
for those very disturbing images, but of course that's what happened, and we pray that may the victims rest in peace. And now we'll take you to Bansol in the northwest region of Cameroon, where elites are complaining that the Lamsol language may be at the brink of extinction. They are urging parents to teach their children the Lamsol language. We have the story with Ambo Gladys.
Promotion of Lamso, the mother tongue of the people of Kumbo in the Boy division of the northwest region of Cameroon. They are unhappy with many people from the area whom they blame for refusing to teach their offspring the mother tongue and fear the language might disappear.
It is already a government program that languages be taught, and even our government is talking about multiculturalism. And every culture needs to promote, or every language needs to promote their culture, and one main aspect of culture is the language. And we, the Nsol people, we want to make sure that our language is promoted.
During the meeting to discuss ways through which Lamso could be better promoted, the coordinator of the Lamso Literacy Promoters Association, Binka Emmanuel Killen, blasted head teachers who think the mother tongue destroys the English language and makes it difficult for pupils and students to study. He appealed on them to ensure the mother tongue is taught in their schools.
When you look at the number of schools and the number of, and when you look at all the schools in Saltland, and you really look at the number of schools that are teaching the mother tongue, you will see that the number is not much. And that is why I'm calling on every head teacher to take it serious, to make sure that the Lamso is being taught in his or her school, because it's a government law.
It was revealed during the meeting that some individuals use the teaching and learning process of Lamso as a money-making venture. Organizers were, however, disappointed with the absence of writers and promoters who have a mastery of Lamso, the mother tongue of the Nsol people.
Now we come back to celebrations marking the 131st edition of Labor Day. We talk news from the house. Canal Day International and its subsidiary Sweet FM were informed yesterday to celebrate this edition of the International Labor Day. They put on colorful march past. And which ended up with a feast. Lorian Gamini was part of that march past. Her report.
It was with pomp and pageantry that staff of Canal International and its subsidiary Sweet FM marked to celebrate the 31st edition of the International Labor Day. At the grandstand in Douala, with their green and colorful outfit, could not go unnotified. As they marched across the grandstand, they were cheered and given a standing ovation. After the march past, staff assembled and had a moment of communion. Albert Fotso, director of Sweet FM, gave a talk to the press men and women, and the director, Emmanuel Chatry, encouraged the workers not to relent their efforts, but continue to deliver first-class journalism. Food and drink was available to crown the day.
And still on Labor Day celebrations, workers in Fumban have called for an end to favoritism, bribery, fraud at workplaces. Now, this was the central message as they celebrated the 131st edition of the International Labor Day. Once more, Lorian Gamini.
Increasing salaries, affiliating workers in the National Social Insurance Fund, known by its French acronym CNPS, are some wishes employers of the non-division West region of Cameroon express. In the course of the 31st edition of Labor Day celebration in this part of the country, the celebration began by the giving of labor medals to employees of different enterprises as recognition for the several years of services offered. I am very impressed by the way I saw workers of the non-division distinguish themselves this day. And I also noticed the presence of those working in the informal sector, which we need to encourage because the informal sector contributes to more than 50% of the country's economic growth. This Labor Day celebration under the theme Social Dialogue, Economic Growth and Social Cohesion saw the participation of several enterprises of both the public and private sector. It was equally a moment of joy and feasting for these enterprises who equally says no to favoritism, no to fraud and no to nepotism.
And we still talk Labor Day, but this time around, we zoom on this individual who decided not to take part in the traditional march past, but rather, he chose to stay in his office to treat some documents. D. Maureen took interest in that story. Her report.
These young soldiers, 714 of them, have come to the end of their training at the Kutaba Training Center. The 2016 contingent are now apt to participate in any crisis or war and can effectively handle arms. The training lasted for 10 weeks and 714 sub-officers can run without interruption for 15 kilometers and are ready to serve the nation. We can say with certainty that these young men are now apt to handle any firearm, and they are equipped with the fundamentals of being a soldier. The administrative authorities were impressed and a colorful march past rounded off the event.
We are sorry for that little mix-up there. That was rather a report on some 714 sub-military officers that just completed 10 months of training in Kutaba. And right now we go to Mbam and Inubu, where driver's license exams were almost mad. Now it is reported that these examinations was almost disturbed because those who were supposed to sit in for the exams came late and were trying to disrupt the exams. We have details with Gladys Ambo.
These candidates taking part in the driving license examination in the Mbam and Enobo division in the Central region are carefully checking the board to ensure their names are found on the list of those shortlisted to sit for the examination.
Gamini.
There are more than 200 of them, not only from the Mbam and Enobo division, but also from other divisions of the Central region. The test, which started as early as 8 a.m., was also open to commercial motorcyclists. But the exercise was also marred by some 100 candidates who arrived at the examination center at Government High School Bafia late. They reportedly perturbed the test, and it was only after the intervention of the regional delegates for transport that calm returned.
La réglementation est claire.
You know the examination has its rules and regulations, and we must abide to them. They include pasting the list of candidates at every hall and their numbers on the benches. The candidates have to be here at 7 a.m. and the test begins effectively at 8:15 a.m. At the moment, all is going on well. Some candidates always have one or two reasons to justify their lateness, claiming they come from enclave areas like Bagansina, Nkoro or Yaoundé to arrive the examination center at 9 o'clock. This is not serious. Honestly, there is no need to admit such candidates into the hall. After the written part of the driver's license examination, candidates immediately entered the second phase, which was practicals. The next test is expected on June 10, and only shortlisted candidates will take part.
And we talk health. Today is World Asthma Day, a day set aside to create public awareness on the disease. 334 million people suffer from asthma in the world. People with asthma typically experience wheezing, a high-pitched whistling sound heard during breathing. Asthma management requires collaborative efforts of patients and asthma carers and health professionals. And now we take you out of the country. We go to Nigeria, where some high-profile civil society leaders have called on President Muhammad Buhari to take a medical leave. The president's absence from 2 consecutive cabinet meetings, as well as Friday prayers last week, has fueled speculations about the state of his health. He has not been seen in public for more than 2 weeks. And in France, French presidential candidate Marine Le Pen has been accused of plagiarizing defeated rival Françoise Fillon in a speech she delivered on Monday. Several sections of her speech in Villepinte, north of Paris, appear to repeat almost word for word comments by Mr. Fillon made in an address on April 5th. An official of her National Front party has, however, said she had made a note to Mr. Fillon and she is certainly not a sectarian. It's on that note that we've come to the end of this newscast on Canal English. Thanks for always being there for us. Another newscast comes up at 8 p.m. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.